What we've been doing since we started was moving around from one topic to another, but linking them all back together. We come back to the Hal Leonard book and work on your note reading and finding your notes in the open position. We also work around the neck, finding the natural notes or different scales higher up on the neck and gain our fretboard knowledge. Run through your chords and gather them up into different keys, figure out key signatures and different elements of theory. And today we're back into Hal Leonard. We're going to look at some E minor songs on page 34, I believe, in your book. But we're going to use some information here that we just derived from some scale theory that we did in the last couple lessons. What we did there was we talked about how this little bit of a G scale on the top three strings, from G to A to B to C to E to F sharp to G, could become a template for other scales. We ended up at the 5th fret doing the exact same shape, starting on and ending on C's, so we said that was a C major. Then we filled up that 5th position with those same notes. We've got C at the 8th fret, D, E, F, G, A, B at the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and we could even go back down from C to B to A, so we have 3 notes per string, except right now on the 4th string we'll only use 2, the G and the A. I said that was a C major, and that this little angle, C to E, looks like a chord. It looks like a G chord back here, and here it's a C. This is C Ionian scale. Or if we start on the A and play the minor version, all the same notes but focusing on A as the root, it's an A natural minor called the Aeolian mode. We're going to apply all of that back here in the open position again. We already know all of this information, but we haven't labeled everything as such. We know that the G chord has a relative minor E minor. Just as C's relative minor is A minor. So the key signature of G, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G, making a major scale derived from whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half steps. There's your G, here's starting again at that G, with your F sharps. Key signature of G has F sharp notes, and that would be a G Ionian scale, a G major scale when I start on G and make it the tonic. But E minor can also be the key note of that key signature. So I can be in the key signature of G major, but play in E minor. We know that from Wish You Were Here. We talked about the pentatonic mix of an E minor pentatonic, being the same notes as a G major pentatonic. Wish You Were Here played that one scale and moved between the 2 chords. E minor from E minor pentatonic and G major. So if I come to the key of G and I start on its relative minor, the E note, I can make an E natural minor scale or an E Aeolian mode. It's just these notes again played from E. So starting here on the 6th note, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Starting again on E, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. With room to get an F sharp and G here just because they're in this range. So here's the E Aeolian or E natural minor. Now we see that this template we built last time on A, and we said was A Aeolian, or played from C was C Ionian, works down here or everywhere else. So this is the same fingering and shape. 2 fret move, 1 fret, 2 fret move, 1 fret, 2. So we can take that information and play Hey Ho, Nobody Home and Shalom Chaverim on page 34 of Hal Leonard. We see our key signature with the F sharp. We go, that's the key signature of G major. But we're not necessarily in the key of G major. This time we're in the key of E minor. We could say we're in E Aeolian. We start on the E and we end on the E. So I've got a half note on E, half note on open D, quarter note on E, and then 2 eighth notes. So then 1 beat, and then dividing beat 2 into a pair of E's. They're half a beat each for eighth notes. And then the B under that 1 ledger line. The notes we've had so far, E, D, E, and B, give us an E minor 7 chord. Here's our E note again on the 4th string. F sharp, walking up the scale. 4 eighth notes on G, 1 and 2 and. So the first 2 beats are divided into eighth notes, half beats each. Back to the F sharp. Next bar has B, A, B, A. That O2, O2 stuff looks like pentatonic. Next bar has B, A again on quarter notes. And then we rush down eighth notes on them. And end on an E. Foolishly, I tried to squish this all into one line. So at the end there, by the time I got to that E, I didn't have room. They've put a repeat sign right before the E, so we play this line twice. They're also teaching you this E minor chord on this page. And here's the rhythm fairly slowly, I think. And then the song. E, D, E, B. Eighth notes. They've given us the same E minor chord on Shalom Chaverim. We're playing again in E minor Aeolian mode, or natural minor, in the key signature of G with F sharp notes. We have a pickup note here on beat 4. When I talk about that, sometimes I say the reason we have that shortened bar at the end of the song, which leaves room for the pickup notes, is we may be repeating and coming back and using that. In this case, they've actually shown us the use of that. We've got the E note with a dotted half note at the end, 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, and then a repeat. If you'd forgotten what a pickup note was, and I asked you what beat it was on, if you didn't get it, I'd ask you how many beats this note is. When you count to 3, I'd ask you where beat 4 is. It's been borrowed up here. Now in the repeat, we actually come back and use that. So 1, 2, 3, and we hit this B again. We're in the key of E minor. There's our root, our E note. Remember in Amazing Grace and Will the Circle Be Unbroken, we were in G, and I made a big deal often about how we start on the D below it. D is the 5th, up to the G, the root. So that's a very popular move to get started. Here we're doing it in E. We're starting on the 5th note, the B note under it. Then we're moving up to the E. We've got eighth notes on beat 2. So that's beat 2 and with that F sharp marked here. Otherwise, we've got an E chord here. B, E, E, G, and E. Those are all notes in an E chord, in the E minor chord. F sharp's a passing note between 2 chord tones, E and G. Here's the G note of the E minor chord again. A is the passing note between the G and the B of the E minor chord. Leap up to the E note of the E minor chord, the root. We step down onto the D, which could be an escape tone as we drop to another chord tone, the B, or it can just be treated as a chord tone. It's E minor with a D note in it. And that would be the flat 7. The E note again, sorry my line isn't that good. B, another chord tone through the passing tone A down to a chord tone G, walking back up through the passing tone to the chord tone B, drop to the G, passing tone F sharp to the E, chord tones at the end here, and pass through an F sharp again. We saw that idea in Danny Boy where we're playing on chord tones and then we're walking through passing tones in the scale. So the scale is E minor. It's all the notes of the key of G, but starting on an E note. We have the same E minor chord according to Hal Leonard. Other chord charts will give you more chords to these songs. So we start on the 5th string B note. That's the note under the ledger line. Count to 3 and then start. 1, 2, 3, B, E, E to F sharp to G, to E, G, G to A to B, high E, dotted half note for 3 beats, the 7, the D, open B for 3 beats, back up to E, B, A, G, A, B, G, F sharp, E, B, E, F sharp, G, E, and you're back to the beginning. See you guys later. Have a good one.